For 18 years, the Holloway family searched for answers as to how their daughter died. Today, indescribable relief, layered with pain that will never go away.
It's over. Joran Sloot is no longer the suspect in my daughter's murder. He is the killer.
At 18, Natalee Holloway didn't just enter a room, she owned it. She wasn't waiting to become someone, she was someone, leading, listening, lifting others up. Her achievements weren't just bullet points on a resume, they were evidence of how deeply she understood something most people never learn. Presence is power. Born in Tennessee, raised in Mountain Brook, Alabama, Natalee didn't just reflect her community, she elevated it. A mentor to foreign exchange students, a spark at pep rallies, a quiet counselor when no one else noticed. She had a full ride to the University of Alabama. Pre-med, focused, driven, her path wasn't a dream, it was a blueprint already in motion. And then, in one night, it all vanished. Because girls like Natalee Holloway don't just disappear. Not without tearing something open in the world. This is the story of what really happened in Aruba the night the light went out, and a near 20-year fight to bring that light back. Welcome to Grim Vault. If you're here for more than mugshots and shock value, if you believe true crime should haunt, challenge, and humanize, then stay with us. In this vault, stories don't rest. We dig up what others tried to bury. Natalee Holloway wasn't just brilliant, she was electric. Days away from stepping into a future she'd carved out with grit and grace. She wasn't just an honor student, she was the heartbeat of her school. National Honor Society, student government, dance team, peer counselor, volunteer. A leader, yes, but also the kind of person who made others feel seen. Her scholarship to the University of Alabama wasn't luck, it was earned. Her plan? Medicine, healing, giving back. But on May 30, 2005, everything changed. That morning, her classmates packed their bags, nursing hangovers and laughing about the night before. They boarded the flight back to Alabama. Natalee's seat stayed empty. Her suitcase remained untouched. One call from the trip's chaperones, and Beth Holloway's world cracked open. Natalee didn't vanish because she was reckless or careless. She was grounded, responsible, always in touch. Without hesitation, Beth booked the next flight to Aruba, gripped by fear and a mother's unshakable instinct that her daughter was in danger. In her gut, she already knew something was terribly, irrevocably wrong. May 30, 2005, Natalee's last night in paradise. Carlos and Charlie's throbbed with life. Neon lights flickering, baths shaking the walls, rum flowing like water. Music pounded through the air, laughter echoed into the warm Aruban night. For Natalee and her classmates, this wasn't just a party, it was supposed to be a final, unforgettable memory before adulthood began. Sometime after the music faded and the laughter thinned, Natalee got into a silver car with 3 young men, Joran Sloot and the Kalpoe brothers, Deepak and Satish. It was the last time anyone saw her alive. She didn't look scared, she wasn't struggling. She looked like a girl on her way back to her hotel. But she wasn't. That ride became a vanishing point. A car turned into a coffin. The island, a cage. From that moment on, Natalee Holloway was never seen alive again. The investigation ignited like wildfire. Aruba, once a picture-perfect paradise, was suddenly a crime scene. Police checkpoints, global media, a mother, searching every inch of an island she'd never meant to visit. 2 hotel guards were arrested, then released. Next, Sloot, the Kalpoes. A DJ, even Sloot's father, a judge in training, was detained. And yet, every lead crumbled, every promise unraveled. The truth stayed buried, and Natalee stayed missing. Just a mother on an island, searching for a daughter who had vanished into thin air. And that was only the beginning. The years that followed weren't just filled with pain, they were laced with psychological warfare. Joran Sloot, the last person seen with Natalee, became the center of the storm, and he used it. In 2007, he was arrested again, alongside the Kalpoes, This time, investigators cited new evidence, but they never revealed what it was. Within weeks, all three were released. No charges. Just a chilling statement from Aruban prosecutors. No crime of violence against Natalee Holloway had been committed. To a grieving family, it felt like salt in a wound that would never close. And then came the games. The stories spun like traps, designed not to deceive the world, but to torment a grieving family. Vandersloot played the world like a puppet master. In 2008, a hidden camera captured him supposedly confessing Natalee overdosed and he dumped her body at sea. "She'll never be found," he said coldly. But days later, he claimed he made it up to impress the undercover operative. Then came the Fox News interview, where he claimed he sold Natalee into sex trafficking for $10,000. He provided audio of a conversation with his father, a smoking gun maybe, until hours later he emailed Fox. "I lied." The lies never stopped. In 2010, he told a Dutch tabloid that Natalee had fallen from a balcony while high on drugs, and he hid her body in a swamp. Aruban authorities reviewed the claims and called them entirely unbelievable. What would you have done if you were Natalee's mother? Let us know in the comments. Sometimes your words say more than any headline ever could. Even from a prison cell in Peru, Joran van der Sloot still had one weapon left: control. In 2016, while serving time for another brutal murder, he was secretly recorded admitting the unthinkable. "I always lied to the police," he said. "I'm guilty." But the Holloways already knew. They had lived through years of his manipulation, each lie more cruel than the last. To them, Joran wasn't just the man who took their daughter. He was the man who refused to let her rest. He didn't just evade justice, he taunted it. He thrived on the pain he caused. And then he pushed it even further. In 2010, he contacted the Holloway family with an offer that felt more like blackmail. $250,000, 0 cents for the truth. Answers for sale. Beth Holloway's attorney, John Q. Kelly, worked with the FBI to set up a sting. Joran took the bait. He took $10,000 in cash, another $15,000 by wire, and spun yet another story. This time he claimed Natalee hit her head on a rock and that he buried her beneath the foundation of a house. But the house hadn't even been built when Natalee disappeared. Another lie, another twist of the knife. In an email, Joran admitted he made the whole thing up, just to hurt them. "I wanted to get back at Natalee's family," he told a Dutch newspaper. "Her parents have been making my life tough for 5 years. And then, on the 5th anniversary of Natalee's disappearance, he killed again." This time, there was no question, no confusion, and no room for denial. Only a young woman's body, broken and left behind.
It's a stunning break in the case. After 5 days in police custody, denying repeatedly that he killed Stephanie Flores, the young Dutchman broke down in admitting to murdering the 21-year-old Peruvian student in his hotel room after a night of drinking and gambling.
Stephanie Flores Ramirez, a 21-year-old student from a well-known Peruvian family, was found beaten to death in a hotel room. Her skull fractured, her body bruised, blood soaking the bed. The room was booked under Vandersloot's name. Surveillance showed him leaving alone, calm, like it meant nothing. He didn't make up a story this time. He didn't have to. He confessed. He said Stephanie had opened his laptop and seen something. Something linked to Natalee. Whatever it was, it cost her her life.
The bombshell confession came late last night. Under intense questioning, the 22-year-old Joran reportedly told investigators that he attacked Stephanie Flores. He grabbed her by the neck when she took his laptop, he said, and started reading articles about him on the internet. "I did not want to do it," he tearfully admitted. "The girl intruded into my private life. She had no right. I confronted her. She was frightened. We argued, and she wanted to get away. I grabbed her by her neck, and I hit her."
For the world, the mask was finally off. The lies were over. and the monster was real. In January 2012, Natalee Holloway was declared legally dead. Beth Holloway resisted that moment for years, because giving up meant letting go of her daughter. But even hope has limits. And after years of silence, denial, and lies, reality finally forced its way in. Then, in June 2023, nearly 2 decades after Natalee vanished, the story turned. Joran van der Sloot was extradited to the U.S. on federal charges of extortion and wire fraud. And in an Alabama courtroom on October 18, 2023, he did something no one expected. He confessed. No cameras, no tricks, no fake stories this time.
Plus, she asked to go back to her hotel, but I was just trying to get dropped off a little bit further away from her hotel so we could walk back to her hotel and I might still get a chance to be with her. I'm actually with Natalee walking along the beach. I find a space before we get to the Marriott hotel where I lay her down. We lay down together in the sand and we start kissing each other. I get her to kiss me again. We start kissing each other, and I start feeling her up again. And she tells me no. She tells me she doesn't want me to feel her up. I insist. I keep feeling her up either way. And she knees me. She ends up kneeing me in the crotch. When she knees me in the crotch, I get up on the beach and I kick her extremely hard in the face. Yeah, she's laying down unconscious, possibly even dead, but definitely unconscious. And I see right next to her there's a huge cinder block laying on the beach. I take this and I smash her head in with it completely. Her face basically, collapses in. Even though it's dark, I can see her face is collapsed in. I'm scared. I don't know what to do, and I decide to take her and to put her into the ocean. So.
He said Natalee had rejected his advances, and in a fit of rage he hit her with a cinder block. Then he dragged her to the ocean and dumped her body. Polygraph confirmed the truth. For Beth Holloway, it wasn't closure. It was a wound finally named. This confession means we've finally reached the end of this never-ending nightmare, she said. No deal, no spin. Just a truth, ugly, hollow, and long overdue. Whether Aruba will prosecute remains uncertain, but for Natalee's family, a sliver of peace has finally found its way in. And still, something lingers. Because this story was never just about one girl or one confession. It's about the darkness that hides in plain sight, the way justice delays become betrayals, and the kind of love that refuses to die, no matter how many lies it's forced to endure. Natalee's light was stolen, but her name never dimmed, because Beth and Dave Holloway refused to let the world forget. And now, finally, the world has to listen. This was Natalee Holloway's story, but it was never just hers. It belongs to every parent who's waited by a phone that didn't ring, to every family who searched for the truth while the world moved on. It's a story of justice too late, a confession too hollow, and a life too bright to be erased. At Grim Vault, we don't tell true crime to entertain. We tell it to remember, to reveal, to reckon. Because behind every headline, there's a human, and behind every case, a cost. So, if you believe Natalee Holloway deserved more than silence, if you believe justice should echo louder than cruelty, then don't just listen, stand with us. Subscribe, share, act. Support the truth. Honor the lost. Help the ones still searching. This is Grim Vault, where truth is never buried quietly.